What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Silver Rust Podcast. I'm your host, Mitch O'Deal, and today I have my buddy Anthony here joining us. Welcome, Anthony.
Hey, it's nice to be on here. I'm a big follower of the podcast, big friend of yours. We've been talking for a few years now, and it's just great to be on and help you out.
Yeah, thank you. So let's jump into it. Let's talk about the Carolina Panthers game, the 42-24 victory.
Oh yeah, it was just a great game all around. I mean, I was worried about this game. I told you about that. It was just a game where I just felt nervous. Maybe the PTSD from last year, but it's just a game where we could have overlooked them coming into the game with injuries, and we just from the minute we touched the ball, we couldn't be stopped. I mean, three plays, and in the 42-yard touchdown from Montgomery. It just from the moment we touched the ball, the game was over.
Yeah, they dominated. I know. I thought it could be a trap game too, and what was so impressive, it's not the win because you beat Carolina. They're not very good, but the thing was we came in not only ready, we didn't allow this to. Dan Campbell didn't allow his team to get too big of heads, like, oh, it's going to be easy win. No. They said, no, it's an opponent, it's an NFL team, and they took care of business. That was so impressive. Not only were they ready, but they dominated. Honestly, the score wasn't as close as it seemed, and it wasn't even that close on paper. 42-24 is not close, but really was more like 42-10. They had a couple garbage time, yards and touchdowns. I mean, we dominated that game. It was very, very impressive. And, Yeah. I mean, and we didn't have a bunch of sacks or anything, but we constantly had pressure on Bryce, made him uncomfortable. It was beautiful. So I was really impressed. It was a great game for the Lions.
Yeah, didn't need the sacks. Bryce was feeling it all day. He didn't feel it like where he's getting knocked on the ground, but he felt like our presence all game. And Miles Sanders, I told you last week, privately, really, I said he's the biggest bust free agency so far, and we proved that. I mean, our lines, we were filling the gaps on the defensive line so well, and it was so evident. Even like the announcers were pointing it out. We were just playing sound defensive football, filling our gaps, making sure the big play never got open, and just making Bryce uncomfortable and never allowing them to get that running game going. And that, along with our offense just being as high-powered as it is, even without two of our best weapons, it just shows you how deep of a team we have. And another note, just we have guys stepping up that would have been starters for us in years past that are our depth pieces now when we need them to be. And that just is a credit to Brad Holmes. That just I wanted to say that and just be because we have Will Harris stepping up now. We have other players just filling in when we need them to. When in years past, especially when Brad Holmes first got here, those would have been our starters. And it just shows you how far we've come in just 3 years.
Yeah, it's really impressive. When you look at just all the things Brad has done, he's drafted excellent, and then his free agent pickups has been smart. This offseason was a little more. He hasn't really gone too much into free agency first 2 years, but this third one, he really did. And Cam Sutton has been one of the best pickups of all free agency. And then you look at David Montgomery, great pickup. You look at there was another one I was thinking of. CJ, even though he got hurt. But there was no doubt he's a phenomenal player. Hopefully we get him back for the playoffs, at least, But yeah, and then, I was getting to a point. The point was, the low-key guys like Josh Reynolds. Guys that were kind of they're not very good. Just pick them off the streets, Khalif Raymond, who's that? But Josh, especially Josh Reynolds, he was kind of like the Rams were okay, yeah, he's not even good enough to be our fourth receiver, and then he's over here in Detroit being our receiver too. And last week our receiver won because Amon-Ra was hurt. So it's super impressive. I was hard on him last year because he made some plays. I'm like, come on. And but he's healthy and he's been really consistent this year. Josh Reynolds has been really good. People don't realize he's been really good. And you got to imagine, once Jamo gets going, Saints back, like, oh my goodness, he could potentially be one of the best receiver threes in the game pretty easily. So, and there's guys like Bugs. Bugs is another guy. He picked him off the streets. You know, nobody believed in him. He was done. You know, didn't work out. On Pittsburgh, who develops great, you know, defensive guys left and right. Didn't work out there, but comes here and he's really been nice since he's been playing, you know, this last few weeks. So, yep, that's very impressive. So I'm excited. I'm happy about our depth. And then, like, this week's practice injury report doesn't look great, but I'm still like, well, we got good depth. I mean, I still think we can win this game. You know.
Agreed. Yeah, the injury report is like a little discouraging, but it's only Thursday. I mean, that Friday practice is
that's important. Yeah.
It sounds like Branch isn't going to be there. We're going to see about St. Brown, and then I didn't know Porter got injured. Apparently, he's dealing with like not a hamstring,
calf
thigh issue or something. Calf.
Yeah, calf.
Calf issue. And
yeah,
it's going to be a challenging game, but I honestly feel like if we can win without the guys we played with the last week, and know it's a better team, but I think we can get it done. We're just playing sound football in the moment, and we're confident. Especially Jared Goff. My God, he is playing the most confident I've seen him since he's been in the league. Rams, Lions, McVay, whatever. He is playing the most confident football he's ever played. I mean, if you don't have him in your MVP discussion right now, you're doing something wrong. He is playing like
he's
a top
balling.
5 quarterback right now.
He's balling.
I mean, what was he? 20 for 28, 232 and 3 touchdowns, and then a rushing touchdown as well. No picks.
Yeah, he's super efficient.
He's just. What's been more impressive this year for me is he's been throwing some balls into some tighter windows where you're like, oh, he can play. Like, he can really play. And it's not just a guy that's like a check down Charlie. He's not a guy that's just trying to move the chains and hand the ball off. He's actually making plays and he's a big part of our offense. And he's gonna have to get signed after this year.
Yeah, he's our franchise QB. I'm pretty confident in saying that. Before I get into that, I just want to say a couple things about the Carolina game before I get a little too sidetracked. So first 5 games, we're 4-1. Great victory, 42-24 win. Great victory. Defense dominated completely. There's really nothing to complain about the defense. They had a couple garbage time stuff, but defense dominated. Aiden Hutchinson, that interception was freaking insane, right? He dominated the game, of course. Dude, he's in the defense. He's not just in the conversation. He should be one of the favorites. Okay, you got TJ Watt, you got Aiden Hutchinson. To me, those are the top 2. I don't care. Because
Max Crosby as well.
Max Crosby too, yes. Because what he's been doing, bro, like 8 pressures. I think he had a tackle for loss. He had a sack. He had an interception. Hutchinson, he reminds me of a little bit. And people are going to be like, oh, shit. He reminds me of, like, especially with the interceptions and his active hands around the line of scrimmage, of J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt used to do... He used to do... And people don't like that because J.J. Watt was amazing in his prime. But Hutch reminds me of him so much. Just he's so active around the line of scrimmage. And he gets his hands up. He gets his hands on interceptions, which isn't normal for a defensive lineman. But he's just so aware. And, he gets to the quarterback. I mean, he consistently... Him and Max Crosby, I've seen that has the most multiple games with at least 8 pressures or more. Like, that's super crazy. He leads the league in pressures. And, he's on pace for over 100 pressures, which is actually insane. If you get 50 pressures a year, all the elite guys, they get about 50 plus, right? Well, we're talking about him doubling that. Like, that's so insane. So, Hutch is amazing, and then, Jerry Jacobs, bro. I was so mad at him for that Seahawks performance, and I was like, man, we're in trouble. And then a couple weeks later, of course, we didn't notice at the time, Emmanuel Mosley, who he was going to end up tearing his ACL. So if I would have known that then, I would have been even more mad because I'm like, we're screwed. But Jerry, he bounced back, bro. He hasn't given up much, and he'll give up some plays, but he comes back strong, and 3 interceptions the last 2 weeks. I mean... It's really nice, bro. He's been playing well. So we had 3 takeaways. That was awesome. And then I don't believe we had any turnovers, so that's good football, good clean football. And Montgomery, another 100-yard game. You know, he's a monster. And so you know, we have 5 straight games with we're holding opponents under 100 yards, and we have 100 yards in each of those games for ourselves. We're the first team to do that since team in 2007. I'm not sure which team did it, but so I mean, if you stop the run, if you can run efficiently, and you're winning the turnover battle, bro, you're gonna win lots of football games, So, very impressed with them. Very great win, dominant. You know, we should dominate them. We're beating the teams we should. The last 3 games we've won by, I think it's at least 14 points. We've just dominated our last 3 opponents, and you don't do that in the NFL. But the Lions have been so consistent. So this next test in Tampa Bay is going to be a good matchup because, you know, we're injured, we're on the road. You know, Tampa Bay's actually pretty solid football team. They surprised me a little bit, and so it's going to be a good test. But back to what you were saying about Jared Goff, yeah. I remember when we traded for him, and I was partially mad because we just traded Matthew Stafford, who was my favorite player. So I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work, you know. And I was looking for draft prospects every year. Okay, what about this year? Justin Fields and Trey Lance and them. That's what I was looking at. Didn't happen. We got Sewell. The next year I was kind of looking at who was the next year? Oh, the quarterbacks weren't very good. Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, all of them. So it wasn't really one. I thought it was gonna be Sam Howell. Like, before the season started, I was like, Sam Howell or Kayvon Thibodeau, you know, potentially ends up being Hutchinson, who ends up having the most crazy, like, jump from year to year into that
magical year.
Yeah, so, and then the following year, okay, so beginning of last year, I thought C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young was going to be a Lion. You know how we started. And then, obviously things got going, and it wasn't even a thought. And now I say, you know, he's our franchise. He's not Patrick Mahomes, but that's fine. He's one of the best pocket passers in the league. He is, and he has a great arm. He's very accurate. I don't care what people say. He's smart with the football, and he can throw all 3 levels of the field. He throws dimes. He can throw them in tight windows. Like, there's things he can't do, but there's a lot of things he does at a really high level, man, and it's super exciting. And like you said, his confidence. Never seen him so confident. Like, he's so confident. And as a quarterback, that is so important, man. I love it. So yeah, I think we're gonna lock him up. I actually have a feeling he's gonna probably not get as much as he probably could. I just have a feeling. Like, he's still gonna get paid. I think it's gonna be a good deal for both. But either way, he's gonna be our guy for a while longer for sure. And he's only what, 28?
Yeah, he's 28. I feel like the baseline of the contract starts like similar to Daniel Jones, and it like moves up. Or like I feel like he's gonna want more stable than Geno Smith. But I feel like Daniel Jones' contract is like where you start, and then you just kind of like move it up after that.
At least.
Yeah. I feel like that's just like where like the discussions start, or like, hey.
Yeah.
This is a deal we like, but like, you know, obviously we will improve it. And I just think you got to do it either at the end of the season. You know, it just, you got to. It's so easy to fall off if you don't have the right quarterback, and we have our right quarterback, and you can always get worse. It's so easy to get worse at quarterback than it is to get better at quarterback. So you don't want to take that risk. I mean, I remember everybody hated on us for the Stafford contract when we first signed him, and it was we had to. There's no way we're not signing this guy.
And because you can't like if we had a shot at maybe because it would be ideal to get a guy on a rookie contract like Caleb Williams, but we are not even going to sniff him. We're going to be too good. For one, it's going to be hard enough to trade up to that pick. Whoever got that pick really wants to draft him, and even if they don't, they're going to trade back, but it won't be that far because you know, to trade up for a player like that, it would just literally. I don't think the Lions could. You would have to trade. The package would be insane. So I don't think that's realistic, and that's fine because Goff. I believe we can win a Super Bowl with him. He's been there, you know. So and he's really proven people wrong. Like, he's a good quarterback, even a great quarterback, and so yeah, Pay the guy. I don't feel like he's gonna get close to $40 million. It'll be a little less, but it will still be a really nice. It definitely has to be more than Daniel Jones. It has to be more stable than Geno Smith. I think it'll be like a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
So it has to. Yeah, Daniel Jones, you cannot give him less than him. You can't even offer that.
No,
Because that's not fair. He's definitely twice the quarterback Daniel Jones is.
agreed. And what I say about that is just like that contract was not like, it was like for him it was very like, we want you to prove it a little bit more. And I don't think Jared Goff would need to prove it, especially in the playoffs and win the division. It would be like, okay, here's like a tier of quarterbacks contracts that we think, but like we're gonna move it up. And I feel like that's just kind of like where they started off at, like at least like discussions between like inside the organization. They don't present it to Jared Goff or anything. I just feel like that's kind of like a baseline of like where they can maneuver or go forward from there. And that's all I have to say about that. I mean, pay the man, get him his money. He's playing lights out for the last 15 games. He's been playing lights out, taking care of the football, being a leader, and I feel like there's just an overall trust in the locker room that this is our guy and we're gonna live and die by him.
Yep, that's true. He's been playing good. David Montgomery's been playing really good. The whole offensive line, even though they've been banged up here and there, a guy here and there, been playing good. Sewell, all-pro year. He's playing phenomenal. Him and Ragnow both have just, to me, they're the best at their positions right now. They're just dominating, bro. They don't, like every game I see and they're like, 38 pass blocks and they had 38 pass block snaps and they had 0 pressures allowed. Like these two. Every week, they're just dominant.
Jonah Jackson as well. We're going to have a big decision with him coming up this year. I mean, he's playing really good football this year. I mean, I know he's surrounded by 3 great players, but still, like he's always been locked down that left guard spot for us, and we can't take a
I think he gets extended, and also because we have a bunch of money coming up, and I don't think I think we're gonna extend a couple guys, and Brad seems very smart in his maneuvers, so and that'll be one of them. I feel like, So we talked about Reynolds, and then Sam Laporta, our rookie, has been phenomenal.
God, I mean, how lucky, and how smart of Brad Holmes. I mean, but like, how lucky are we that we traded a top 5 tight end, and we potentially get a top 6, top 7 tight end in this year?
Bro, we really. It's insane to think about, because when we traded him, people were like, what are they doing? What are they doing? They just traded an elite tight end, which may be true. But they were like, we don't want to pay him, so we're going to trade him. And then we're going to draft another tight end from Iowa and have a rookie contract, and he's going to be playing better in this system for us and that Hawk was. And that's nothing against Hawk. He's amazing. But, and that's what happened.
He fits Minnesota's offense just way better.
Yeah, he does. And Laporta does what we need to do.
Yeah. And he's open, the run after the catch, the ability to break tackles.
His blocking ability.
He looks like Kittle. I mean, he just plays like Kittle.
He does.
It's, he's getting praise from everybody.
Yeah, we thought Hawk was going to be that, and it's not. Hawk's a different type of tight end. He's probably actually closer to more what Kelsey, not to that level because Kelsey's a Hall of Famer, but he's closer to that kind of like tight end, versus where Laporta, he's a lot like Kittle, and he fits what we need him to do, and so it's crazy to think about. Like, he's easily the best rookie tight end in his class, but he's also right now the best tight end. Like, he's been statistically the best. And he'll have to do it consistently throughout the season, throughout these years, to really become the number one guy. You know what I mean? Because you give respect to the guys that have been doing it. Because consistency is everything. But it's like, man, Laporta, yes, and Laporta, and there's not that many like really great tight ends in the league. So if we can really have one of them, it gives us an advantage, because there's so many good receivers in the NFL, so many good running backs, more receivers than running backs, but you have a couple of those, and I believe we do. And then you got this mismatch at tight end. It's like, okay, teams are going to be exhausted. Like, what do we do, man? So I'm really excited about him. I really hope his calf injury isn't that severe. Like, he just came on the injury report today, so that worries me. And he didn't have no practice, so it's like, oh, shit. So I have a feeling that Laporta, Branch, Jonah Jackson, who didn't practice either, I have a feeling they don't play on Sunday. I don't think Gibbs is going to play. But I do think St. Brown, Decker will play. Ragnow, he just gets rest, because of his toe. I think he'll play. So, I mean, we'll get a couple guys back, but a couple guys will be hurt. I really want Branch to play, but I don't know. I mean, like you said, we'll know Friday, tomorrow. We'll know more. If those guys are out, they're not going to play. You know the deal. So, yeah. Because if they're doubtful, they're probably not going to play. So.
Agreed. And then I also wanted to touch about like JMO a little bit, just with him his first game back. It sucked that he missed that pass. Kind of looked like he just didn't want to get hit. I still feel like he's gonna be fine. I really do feel like he's gonna be fine. He did just need to like show to the coaching staff like, hey, I'm a willing blocker. I'm here. I'm gonna be learning, and he did that. Mm-hmm. He did. And a few of those, like, I felt like he could have broke that one screen pass to him if Marvin Jones took in the right angle, because that's how dangerous Jameson is with the ball in his hands. If he would have broke that, he'd have been gone. It'd been definitely first down easy, but so it's just coming. Like you can see it. People are gonna get frustrated. Yes.
There's this one guy at the game. Me and my buddy Ryan were getting kind of like annoyed with. He was after Jamo dropped the ball. He was just going off, and I'm like, bro, you gotta chill out because it's the little things. His blocking was amazing on that touchdown run by Montgomery. Blocking by Jamo is a lot stronger than I thought he was. Like, because his frame, he's not got a big frame. He's a lot stronger and very, very good blocker. I was like, damn. So you love to see that because it's like, okay, this kid hasn't played, a while. I'm sure he wants the ball. He's explosive. He's a receiver. He wants the ball. But he's that type of player that we thought he was. He's gritty. And he get down and dirty and he'll block you. And he's a team player, and you love that because when he gets his time to shine, he's gonna shine real bright. And like he said, I had a drop, but it's just about repetition. We're gonna get better. I'm gonna get better. Like Ben Johnson said, we're gonna stack these good days on good days. He hasn't had that yet because he just got back. So he's gonna blow up, and I can't wait. So just gotta be patient. That's all it is. He'll have more snaps this week. So, and I mean, think about it. We didn't have a lot of offensive snaps last week. No, not really. No. So, and he only had 28 or something.
Yeah, maybe if that. But he's a willing blocker, and that's like he was quoted saying like no block, no rock. That must be a phrase that Randall L. Must be preaching to them.
Yeah.
And so it's good to see that he was doing that and whatnot. And they're gonna get in. They're gonna mix him in some plays. I know they are. They got it. They just got to get some repetition in them. And Jared Goff's got to trust them. That's what it comes down to, too. It's just come down to repetition.
Yeah. After that drop, actually, because it was where I was sitting, it was towards my end zone, he actually got open on a post, and Goff just didn't see him. It was on fourth down. Goff threw to the check down and didn't work out. But, he's still getting open out there. It's just, and as he gets more snaps, gets more repetitions, gets more balls thrown his way, he's gonna blow up, and he's gonna be great. I think his ceiling, he has a top tier ceiling. I think he could end up being our receiver one, and people get a little mad at that because Saint is our receiver one, and he will be until further notice. But that'd be a good thing. If you tell me Jamo can pass up what Saint's doing, that's good, because Saint's damn near, if not a top 10 receiver. You know what I mean? So. You get two of those guys. Oh shit!
I mean, no slight to St. Brown. He doesn't have that one skill that you have to, no matter where this guy's at, you have to make sure where he's at, because he could literally change the game like that.
Yeah.
And
because Jamo got that. he has that explosive, like
Yeah,
elite speed, like and
exactly.
elite speed like that is so rare. You know, him and
Yep.
Jameer Gibbs both got that. So once
Yeah.
they both get going, this offense is going to be insane. And actually, I want to touch on that because a lot of fantasy guys are getting upset, and a lot of other guys. I like one thing that really bothers me is when they say, well, you could have Jalen Carter, which is true, but the Lions obviously didn't feel like he was a culture fit. And why go away from that? They've been building this in 3 years. We went from the bottom of the league to in 3 years being an NFC contender and probably a top 5 team. Like that's crazy fast turnaround. And we've done it on building guys for our culture and to fit us. Why change that up? If you feel like Jalen Carter might be great, and on the field, maybe even off the field, maybe great for them in their locker room in Philly. He's doing great. That's great for him. But that doesn't mean it would. They don't wanna bring that here. And that was their choice, and I stand by it. It's cool because by trading down, you also got Laporta, which we might not be able to get if we didn't. And then obviously we traded up later on and get Branch, and Gibbs will come along. Like his first 4 games compared to other running backs that are like him, Alvin Kamara, who was a second or third round pick, second round pick.
I think Kamara was still third.
Okay, third. Yeah, so obviously he's a little later, but he's similar. And in his first 4 games, he only had 56 touches. But another running back that went high as hell is Christian McCaffrey. He had less. He had 51.
50. Yeah.
50? And then Gibbs had what?
Something like
Gibbs
that.
had like 52, 53? 53 touches. So it's like, guys, this is not a first time thing. Like this is normal. And like the game is a little fast for him. Once he catches up with the speed and he gets more opportunities, he's going to be fine. But guys, we have the 6th ranked run offense. So we're 6th right now. When Gibbs is not getting a ton of touches, what's wrong? Like let him. He'll get his touches later on. We're fine. We're 4-1. Like what's the big deal? Like it's mostly fantasy heads, but it's like guys, what are we doing?
It's also just, it's almost just like kind of like seeing like, okay, you're seeing Jalen Carter blow up, and you're seeing other players that we could have potentially had.
Yeah,
Over
like Christian Gonzalez,
Yeah. And you're
Jalen
like,
Carter. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just kind of envisioning like what this team could be, and in their minds it seems better, or it seems like foolproof, or
Yeah.
it just seems like we could have been like elite or something. That's like, I don't know. I'm fine. We're 4-1. We lead the division by 2 games, and these guys like they just got to get some time. Get some time.
I mean, we only played 5 games, and people are talking like my biggest issue is someone was like, well, you can tell they're not a well-run team, or someone was like, oh, they'll never be a Super Bowl contender. I'm like, see, that's my problem. Like, you think we should have got Carter, fine, but this doesn't mean we're not gonna. Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. Oh, someone said this isn't sustainable success. You won't have sustainable success because of that one pick or non-pick. Like, I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like, I fully believe Gibbs is going to be great, but even if he wasn't, that's not going to break us. Look what happened to the Niners. They traded 3 first rounds for Lance. And look at them. They didn't miss a beat, dude. Like, and that's where I feel like the Lions, if you hit, yes. Or even, what's his name, Javon Kinlaw?
Yes.
Yeah, Kinlaw was a first-round pick. So it's like, you're going to have misses, and I don't even think Gibbs is going to be that, or Campbell. I think they're going to be fine.
No.
But, it's like, okay, as long as you hit majority of the draft, you're not hitting every pick. No one is. And I do feel like Brad does. Brad hits most of his draft picks. Like, he's done a really good job. And then he finds those late round guys. He finds those guys that don't get drafted. He also finds these guys like Josh Reynolds that teams throw away. So, I mean, bugs. And it's just like, he's done a great job. And I do believe Gibbs is going to be great. Yeah.
Year 1, you've seen that it was gonna. It seemed that it was gonna be different just off of this draft. It was just like, this is a little different. We've never done this before.
Right.
I mean, Quinn, the only thing he ever did was draft decent
offensive linemen.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
it. That was it.
Yeah.
Everything else was hot garbage.
Yeah.
And, to just come in and draft Sewell and draft Amon St. Brown and draft just players later in the rounds. It's just like, yeah, this guy might be a little different.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not tripping either. I'm like, look,
No.
I like Gibbs. Like, yeah, it's fun to imagine it, but it didn't happen for a reason. They didn't feel like Brad and Dan didn't feel like those are the guys for here. That's fine. So we got our guys, and they're gonna get better. Like, I can't wait till they like blow up, and then we can come on here and was like, well, our draft class is right now it's good, but then it's even great right now. It's gonna end up finishing being one of the best in this year's class. We're gonna end up finishing with one of the best drafts. Watch. And we keep doing that, keep stacking. That's why we're going to have lots of success, and we're going to be able to sustain that. So, yeah, it's exciting. But so, how do you feel about the season so far? We're 4-1. So, talk about some of the games, or all of them if you want.
I mean, I'll just kind of do like a quick analysis of each game, starting with Kansas City. First game, Kansas City started off on the road. Against Super Bowl champs. Just want to say the crowd, our fans going out there, just showing out, balling out, painting that stadium blue, and to be able to go in there and win and just kind of like set the tone for the season. Like, yes, the hype is real. Yes, we are here. Yes, last year at the end of the season was not a fluke. It was so awesome to just see that. And to just kind of be part of it, and like knowing that this season is going to be a good season. Defense held Mahomes. I know no asterisks. I don't want to hear anything about those two players that weren't there. Kelsey and Jones. We went in there and won, and against a team that's 4-1 right now as well. I don't want to hear they're a damn good team. That defense of theirs is really good, and we went in there and beat them. We didn't get any sacks, I don't think, that game, but besides that, the defense played lights out. Mahomes was feeling it. Mahomes had to get out of the pocket multiple times, and the offense did what they had to do. And Brian Branch coming out party, pick 6, beautiful thing to see. The off-season hype was real as well with him, and yeah, just a great way to start the season with that game. Moving forward to Seattle, just a heartbreaking loss. I mean, no other way to put it. Overtime against a team that's quickly becoming our rivals, at least for me. I really want to beat those guys. They're on the similar path as us. Started the rebuild around the same time, and nobody thought they'd turn it around quickly. They end up doing their drafting really good, and a quarterback that nobody wanted. And he's balling out. So I really wanted to beat them, especially for the fans that showed out. I know it was loud there. I know that we had the ski masks going. And to lose that game kind of sucked. But, it just, Jared Goff threw some turnovers. That pick 6 hurt. The fumble to start the half when we had the ball first to start off the half sucked. And we just lost, we lost CJ that game. We lost Houston that game. We lost some other players to that game. It was a frustrating game. But, you move forward going into week 3. And what do? You kind of just move past it. And that's what we did against the Falcons, 20-6. Not a overall pretty game, but man, we got to the quarterback that game. 7 sacks. And Desmond Ridder just didn't get anything going. Bijan Robinson, the guy that everybody wanted to pencil in for Offensive Rookie of the Year, didn't do anything. Run defense. That was the beginning of, I think that's when everybody started to realize this defense might be a little better than we thought it was going to be, holding that team with the weapons they have to 6 points, and never really got anything going, for crying out loud. Especially just to bounce back after we did, and just to show out and to just not overthink it, was really impressive from them in that game. And then moving forward against the Packers, just a really, really sound football game, a really impressive football game. Short week, injured team again, and you're going into it just not knowing too much about this team because they are young, the Packers, and just Jordan Love couldn't get anything going from the moment he started, except like in the third quarter, and got off to a 27-3 win or lead in the half. Love to see that. Offense was rolling, defense was just swarming Jordan Love, and you didn't take your foot off the gas even when they came in. You scored some more points, and you got out there and took firm control on the division and let pretty much everybody in the division know, yep, you guys are gonna have to play a tough team twice this year, and you better get used to it. I really feel like we sent the message with that game, especially at Green Bay. That last year wasn't just like a rah try to prove something game, try to get them out of the playoffs. No, we're legit, and we're gonna be here to stay. And I honestly feel like that was it was almost a message sent to the division, in my opinion. But great win. We're there. Love's beating the Packers. Moving forward to what was it? Not the Panthers. We already talked about
which we talked about.
But overall, can't be too mad about the season. 4-1, leads the division by 2 games, and we're a 3 seed in the conference right now. Love to see it, and I honestly feel like we're the second or third best team in the conference right now. I feel like if we played Philly on a neutral site, it'd be really close, and we're both healthy.
So that Chiefs game was a good statement. I don't care if they don't Chris Jones or Travis Kelce, because look, they were supposed to be much better than us. They just won the Super Bowl. We didn't make the playoffs. So even without those guys, like, we're the Lions, right? Yeah. You guys should be better than us. But we proved that day, maybe just that one day, we were the better team. And that's standing in the standings. It's a win. Don't matter who was playing, who's not playing. And you see early on in this season, we have a lot of injuries. We just keep overcoming them, and that's what great teams do. Not the Chiefs aren't great; they're obviously great. They're a Super Bowl contender, of course, but we had their number. It was a great win. Defense was awesome, like you said. Offense was slow, but they found a way to win. And then that Seattle loss, sucked. Losing that first game, but it took them. They had no turnovers. We had 2. We might have 3. Was it 3 or 2?
Can't remember. I know we had the
fumble,
and I know we had the interception.
And the pick.
No, Marvin Jones fumbled that game too, didn't he?
No, I think that was just the Chiefs game.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, my bad.
So, we gave him 14 points, basically. Pick 6. Because defense wasn't that good that game, but you got to think about it. They really gave up like 21 points because the defense gave up that pick 6, or whatever the defense gave up, and then the pick 6, and then we gave up, fumbled our own 5. Corey, I don't really blame the defense for that. That's 14 points right there. So that was a hard loss, and it took them overtime to still beat us, and they played a lot more clean, and we played. Ours was messy, and we still almost found a way to win. Sucks we couldn't get it done, but I'm happy we got that first L out the way, because if you're undefeated, you're gonna slip up, and we're still gonna lose games, I'm sure, but you know what I mean. Like you start winning too many. You're like 5-0, 6-0. You're like, oh, okay. You're gonna slip up at some point, and I'm just glad we got that L out the way. Got a taste, got humbled a little bit, and that might have been the best thing for us, because then we come out right out of the gates, hard, and against the Falcons. Should have put up more points, but you see the progress, like each game, and so you the Falcons, you dominate the game, but you don't put up a ton of points. You win 20-6, but then you go to Lambeau Field, and you honestly just dominate the whole game. You like you said, we had a 27-3 lead, and in this game we sacked Jordan Love 5 times. The week before we sacked Desmond Ridder 7 times, so we were all over them. But we get up to a big lead, and then they start making a little comeback. Nothing crazy, but this is the NFL. It's going to happen. You get a big lead in the first half, teams come back, but the best teams still make sure you win. You don't choke it away, and we didn't. We still beat them by 14. So in Lambeau, and then we have obviously our best overall win of the season, and it's against the Panthers, who right now will probably be the number 1 pick, and they might have the number 1 pick in the draft, which goes to Chicago, but whatever. And so they're a bad team, obviously, but like we said, it was a trap game, and they took care of business. They dominated them, man. dominated them. It was beautiful. And so now, I'm actually here in Florida. That's why I'm out here in this hotel. I'm here in Florida. I'm about to go to the Tampa Bay game. And this one, we have a lot of injuries, but can't wait to see who plays and who doesn't. But I still think we can get this W. This will be tough. It's on the road, a little banged up. I think they're going to be pretty decently healthy. I think Mike Evans is going to play. And this is going to be a real test for our defense and our corners. And our secondary. Because, now we got two legit, really good receivers. And it's probably the best two we've faced since Seattle, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm thinking, Seattle. So we're really going to see. I want to see Jerry mostly. I think Cam will hold his own. He's been doing that great job of that. But I want to see Jerry just have his best game. And, we gotta make sure we get pressure on Baker and really stress him out a little bit, make him uncomfortable the whole game. But he can do a little bit, extend plays a little bit, and we just gotta make him uncomfortable and get a lot of pressure, get some sacks. So, but Hutch versus Tristan is gonna be crazy. Yeah.
Agreed.
That's gonna be because he's honestly right now. I feel like Sewell, him, and probably Trent Williams are probably the best three offensive tackles right now. I think that's fair to say. Not too far behind him is Darrisaw and Slater. But yeah. But so that's gonna be a hell of a matchup. If Hutch can win those reps, then it might be a long day for Baker. Hopefully, and then I've seen some things that they've done okay against the run, but when they played a really good running team like Eagles cooked them. So hopefully that's the case for us too. So we can play our game, because they have some talent on defense though. This is probably going to be what would you say? The second best team we faced. I think they're better than the Packers. I think they're better than the Panthers. The Falcons. I think they're better than, but Seattle and the Chiefs are better. Yeah. So third best team we'll face, but on the road it's always tough on the road, and they're solid. So but hopefully if we lose, it's not the end all, but I think it's gonna be a close game regardless, lose or win. But hopefully we pull it out, get a big road win would be awesome, and to start the season 5-1 would be great, man. It'd be great.
Two teams back to back that are going to be a challenge for us, Bucs and then Ravens. You get no breaks. You get no breaks in the NFL.
Nope, and they're both on the road too.
Yeah, both are competing for their division and trying to get in the playoffs. The Bucs, who would have thought, 3-1, thought they were going to be competing for the second overall pick behind the Cardinals. And
right.
I honestly thought they were going to be. And to start off the season, Baker's.
And the Cardinals are not even the number one pick right now. NFL's crazy.
Yeah.
Of all people.
Right. But what was I going to say? It just comes down to we got to confuse Baker Mayfield, kind of get him uncomfortable, kind of what we've been doing to these young, inexperienced. I know he's not as experienced as some of these other quarterbacks that we face, but we just got to confuse him, just got to get him out of that pocket and force him to make some bad decisions. Same with our offense. Can't be turning the ball over at all. And if we could just have a solid day on the ground and a game where we don't turn it over, just play sound, gritty football like Campbell wants us to, I feel like we can get out of there with a win.
Yeah, so, if we have no Laporta, it's going to be interesting. If we have no Laporta or Gibbs, I want to see who really steps up, because you guys say they have some guys in the secondary that are tough. They have a few corners that are pretty tough, and then they have a really nice safety who's really good. And then, they got some good linebackers, they got some good D linemen. So they have guys all over. So, I want to see Reynolds still kind of pick up what he's been doing. But with no Laporta, he's been a huge part of our offense. And Montgomery will still get his touches, of course. Hopefully we can take advantage of that. But I think Jamison there might be some plays in there for him. He might, because if we can stretch the field, and that'll help Saint out a lot. If we're stretching the field, especially if we can connect on those and start really worrying the defense, if we're running the ball well, that will also open that up, the deep pass. And then, so I think Jamison he might have some nice matchups. So I'm hoping. So we'll see. I'm not expecting too much, but
yeah, I think he gets his opportunities early, and
yeah,
it's kind of up to him to take advantage of that. And if he does,
yeah,
he's going to get the ball more because especially if Laporta's not playing, I know they're going to be looking for that second or third option to be counted
yeah,
on. And it's kind of up to him. I honestly feel like this could be a little tiny bit of a coming out party for him.
yeah,
If the opportunity presents itself, it's going to be up to him to catch
yeah,
the ball, make those opportunities happen. But
yeah.
going back to that Panthers game just a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
I brought it up to you last week where I was nervous too. Like, we had to be hungrier. You brought it up, but it was a good point by you. You said that we had to be hungrier. And we definitely were hungrier because I know those Panthers wanted to get their first win. But we are on a mission, and we are hungrier to make the playoffs, win the division, do something in this league. And I feel like this team is hungrier to play some winning football than the Panthers were to win their first game.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. They came out, said no, we still want it more. Like, yeah, we're winning, but we want it more still. And that mindset, and it's just all over. Like, I love it. Like, that's why I believe this is sustainable and all season long and for years to come. We're gonna win lots of football games. So I'm excited for this matchup. I'm a little nervous because it is gonna be a tough one, especially on the road. At home, I feel a lot more better, and we're banged up a little bit. So. But, yeah, I do think this is going to be a challenge, and just win. I don't care how much is by. It's the NFL. I don't care. Just win the game. So, yeah. If we can keep doing what we're doing, run the ball, control the game, but also stop the run, don't let up on that, stop the run, and just put pressure on Baker. They have some good receivers, but it won't really matter if he's just on his back the whole game,
Right.
So, that's
Falcons had good receivers.
Yeah.
Packers has some decent young receivers, and they just couldn't get anything going. It's the same thing with, it's the same thing we got to do with Tampa Bay. Just make them uncomfortable.
Right, and I really, so I was thinking about this. Obviously, Emmanuel Mosley tore his ACL, which sucks. And so it seems like we're kind of thin at corner, and I want us to make a play for someone. But at the same time, Aaron Gordon really likes Stephen Gilmore, So, and the potential's there, and I really hope he sees the field soon, and see what we got, And he was talking about him eventually being a lockdown corner. That's a lot of high praise for a guy that's, he's been inactive a lot too, but they really like him. So I think eventually he'll see some time, I would like to see what he can do, and then I really want Branch to come back. But, if he doesn't come back this week, that sucks. But that means he'll probably be back for Baltimore. Because at first it didn't seem like he would even miss a game, and then he missed last week, and then now he might miss this week. So I think he'll be back for Baltimore. But if he's been playing pretty good at safety when he has to, Will's been playing the nickel, huh? He played most of the nickel last week, so he did an all right job actually. And I've been a hater on Will for a couple of years, but no, he actually did pretty good. Because if you think about a player and you're like, I don't remember many plays with him involved, which is typically good, like DBs,
Yeah.
So so he played well. So we'll see if he keeps it up. And then if he does have to play, he's been playing well. There's a safety. Yeah, there's a safety I like though on our. He's on our practice squad. I don't remember if he got elevated, but I'm pretty sure it was only for a game. Brandon Joseph.
Okay.
Yeah, he played at. I don't know if you remember when he played at Minnesota a couple years ago, and then last year he transferred to Notre Dame to try to follow in Kyle Hamilton's footsteps, get a first-round pick, and he would have been like a third-round or second-round pick if he would have went after Minnesota, but he decided to try to elevate his game, and then it crashed, came burning down. So, and then he didn't even get drafted. So, but he has a lot of talent. I like him too. So, it's funny. Brad just like our practice squad isn't just like guys that can fill in. Like there's some young talent in there that are just really, really raw, and I like that. Listen, James Houston, last year. So I really like that, and so we'll see maybe we can if we need any of those guys. But as the season goes on, But hopefully we just take this W and we get healthier. Josh Pascal's getting close to returning. So
Good. We need him.
I want to see him. Really wanted to see James Houston, but it'll be longer for that, obviously.
Yeah.
But my hope is, besides Mosley, because he's done for the year, we can get everybody back, for playoffs, or late in December, like Houston and CJ. Those would be the last two. I mean, the rest of the guys seem like they're going to come back, next few weeks or so.
Yeah,
so
hopefully we're just kind of getting our injuries out of the way early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And, back half, we just got to kind of get them done and over with. And be healthy. Because last year, we were a relatively healthy team towards the end of the season last year. And it's such a shame that we didn't make the playoffs because I know nobody wanted to face us going into the playoffs.
And if you notice, but if you notice, like, in any year, and most of the injuries happen early on when their bodies just really ain't adapt to it. But later on the season, when their bodies are used to that kind of like physicality, like injuries don't happen as much. So used to your point, like hopefully we get them out of the way. Nothing. I mean, couple serious. Obviously, CJ. Mosley sucks, but we already didn't have him. I mean, I really did like his potential with us, but whatever. We already didn't have him. And then so CJ and really James Houston, only big ones, especially CJ. So hopefully. And Dan did say he thinks he could potentially come back. So that would be awesome if they do. And these next couple injuries, just like these few games, of guys, hopefully we get them back here, especially after the bye week,
Right.
Because we got Tampa Bay, Baltimore, both on the road, and then we come home against the Raiders versus, on Monday Night Football. Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Then bye week. So ideally, if you can win at least 2 of these next 3 games, and if you go on the bye week 6-2, 5-3 is not the end, end of the world, but 6-2, at least. It obviously would be nice to go into the bye week 7-1, of course, but we'll see.
Like and I mean, I know they're not great right now, but like these 3 games stretch, and then like the back end where we play the Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings. That's a tough stretch. I know the Vikings aren't great, and they might not be great towards the end of the season, but 2 divisional games intertwined with a potential playoff team in the middle of it. We just got to get past this 3-game stretch because besides that last 3-game stretch, the schedule isn't that great.
No, you get Chicago twice. You get Denver, once.
Yeah.
You get Green Bay again on Thanksgiving. That place is going to be going crazy, and I'm going to be there too. So, that's not easy wins, but they're not easy wins, but they're favorable. But yeah.
And I honestly feel like we just got to jump out to this hot start, just 6-2, 7-1, whatever. And 5, like I said, 5-3 is not the worst, but ideally you want 6-2 or above.
Yeah, absolutely. But yes, like we said, starts here this weekend in Tampa Bay. Yep. And let's beat Tampa. Let's beat them. However, by 1 point, I don't care. Just beat them. Just win. Find a way to win. And let's get out of Tampa and get, not back to Detroit. I mean, we'll be going back to Detroit for like a week, for a couple of days before we head back to, out to Baltimore. But, get a win. I do think we're the better team. But, I mean, we could lose this game. But I do think we're the better team. And let's just go out there and prove it,
Yeah. It's not like last week where, we had no business losing that game. And this game is just like, we are the better team, but they're
still a good team.
It's still a good team over there. And we are banged up. And it just comes down to kind of like, if who can play the most sound, fundamental, turnover-free football. And I honestly feel like that's what it's going to come down to.
Yep, the less mistakes.
Yep,
I agree.
Less mistakes, and that goes for coaching as well. Dan Campbell has to be on top of his game as well, and I think he will. He's been doing great this year, so no worries there.
Absolutely. So, anything else?
No, I feel like I hit on everything I wanted to talk about today.
Yeah, me too. It was a good one.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, okay, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and try to get some more episodes out more consistently. But thank you guys for watching, and Let's get a win this weekend and go Lions. One pride, baby.
Go Lions. One pride.